Mr. President, it has been quite a day. History in the making. You and Prime Minister Pashinyan saying that you're going to issue a joint declaration to the Nobel Prize Committee. We heard President Trump praise your vision and your leadership, and you likewise praising President Trump's visionary leadership that led to this agreement today. As you know, with President Trump, personal relations are very important. How would you rate your leadership to leadership, or even personal relations between you and President Trump? And how important was it to you to see President Trump waive that Section 907 law that was passed by Congress decades ago that had prevented American aid to Azerbaijan? Is this a new moment for Azerbaijan and the United States?
Exactly. I'm sure that we are opening the new chapter in our relationship. And with President Trump, our personal contact, it was the first meeting between us, was very friendly, cordial, and result-oriented. Of course, I knew President Trump from his previous term and from what he have been accomplishing in these 6 months. President Trump didn't know who am I. Of course, he heard about me through his team members. But of course, my personal attitude to President Trump always was very positive. And even last year, in the middle of last year, when I was asked about elections in the United States, I said what I thought. I said that we support him because he is probably the only American president who did not start wars. And this is true. And he is a person who values family values like Azerbaijani people. And of course, during these 6 months in office, as I said today at the press conference, he did things which seem to be impossible. In Africa, in Asia, in Southern Caucasus, the person brings peace and brings tangible results. So from this point of view, I highly value our personal relationship, and I'm sure in the coming years, this personal relationship will influence largely interstate relations between our countries. And of course, issuing a waiver, signing a waiver to this unjust 907 Amendment to Freedom Support Act in Oval Office, in my presence, has a very symbolic meaning. He could have done it in other form. He could have signed that later, but he decided to do it in front of President of Azerbaijan, the country, which have been unjustly sanctioned by Congress back in 1992, in October 1992. And at that time, of course, members of Congress, they were not aware about Azerbaijan, about what was happening in the Southern Caucasus. And through Armenian lobbying groups, they've been influenced. And the victim, Azerbaijan, was presented as an aggressor. So that amendment deprived us from a direct American assistance, which we needed badly at that time. At that time, Azerbaijan was a poor country with many refugees and with a ruined economy. So we were the only former Soviet Union republic which had been under sanctions. Then, as you know, in 2001, these sanctions have been waived because the United States government needed Azerbaijan's assistance in Afghanistan, and we provided a very important transportation connection network, which was called Northern Distribution Network. It was not only overflights, but it was also land and maritime transportation. And every year, American presidents were issuing that waiver until 2023. And that was a big shock for us because we did not expect such an approach from Biden administration. When they stopped needing us in Afghanistan, when Biden administration, in front of the eyes of the whole world was just running away from Afghanistan. After that, they reimposed the sanctions on us. So that was probably the peak of negative attitude to Azerbaijan and being very unthankful. And actually that led to serious deterioration in our relationship with the Biden administration, which have not been repaired until the end of this administration. So our relations were in deep crisis. So this symbolic gesture of President Trump has a lot of sense for us. Of course, today Azerbaijan does not need foreign assistance. We do not depend on foreign assistance. Our economy is stable. Our foreign debt is just less than 7% of our GDP. We ourselves became a donor country. So today, 907 amendment has mainly political and symbolic meaning. And this demonstrates that this injustice no longer is around. So this was a very important political gesture on behalf of the president, and along with signing today in his office the creation of a strategic working group to develop a charter on strategic partnership. These two important events happened today. That's why I consider 8th of August a historic day in our interstate relationship, which will have a very positive implication for the whole region. And definitely what happened today between Azerbaijan and Armenia also will be very important for the whole region, for all those who want peace, stability, and prosperity in the Southern Caucasus.